Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. It is White Rice Wednesday. So I originally had somebody different um to review today, but since this castaway is getting so much social media attention, I decided to review her instead. So today I wanted to review Survivor Castaway Alecia Holden. Alecia was on this current season of Survivor KO Wrong, and I have some different opinions than other people might have about Alecia. First off, I want to start by saying that when the cast list came out before the season premiered, I saw Alicia's picture and I thought, she could be pretty cool. I could root for her, but then my gut was telling me that she's probably going to be one of those pretty faces who does nothing. And sure enough, the first episode, you see how lazy she is. And the first episode, the Braun tribe, her tribe, lost, and it really came down to they lost because of two reasons. One, because Darnell lost the goggles, and that cost them some time. The other reason was because Jenny and Alecia were to solve the puzzle, and while Jenny was solving the puzzle, Alecia just stood there and did nothing. I mean, if you're not the greatest at puzzles, at least attempt to try to solve the puzzle instead of just standing there. So I really could have saw at least that vote. I could have saw that at least going either way. I was hoping Alecia would leave, but I really could have saw Darnell going home too, and Darnell ended up going home. And the tribe wanted to give her a second chance because she did say, like, I'll try harder, you give me a second chance. And she did nothing with it. The second episode, you saw her, of course, still being lazy, and the Braun tribe ended up losing again. And Alecia, that episode, tried to start a fire, and it took her about 4 to 5 hours to start it, and she eventually got it, and people are thinking she's a big hero because she started the fire that long. But that makes me go back to Survivor Worlds Apart when Carolyn and Rodney were were in the fire making challenge, and it took them around the same time, maybe a little bit shorter than Alecia, but it took them a while too to get the fire, till one of them got a fire started. And people think, oh, it's ridiculous how they were on Survivor and they didn't know how to start a fire, but Alecia, they think she's a big hero. So then Alecia tries to save herself and tries to form an all-girl alliance of Sydney and Jenny, but Sydney was loyal to Jason and Scott, and Jenny, she kind of shot herself in the foot because she was a bit skeptical about whether she wanted to go with Alicia's idea or be with Jason and Scott, because on one hand she thought, this could be great, a girl alliance, girl power, but on the other hand she wanted to remain loyal. And at Tribal Council, she revealed how she was originally up in the air about whether she wanted to be Alicia's idea or Jason and Scott. So I'm like, as soon as she said that, I'm like, oh, Jenny's probably going home. And she tried to save herself by saying that if they keep Alecia on, they're going to lose. And I firmly agree with that. I mean, at this point in the game, you need to get off the weaker people first and then get off your bigger threats later. I mean, this is a time where you have to get off the weaker people first so you can make your tribe stronger and actually have a chance at winning the challenges, instead of having people who just don't even attempt in the challenges. And Alecia actually lied at Tribal Council when she said that she wasn't the one to that had the idea to form the All Girls Alliance, and then when Jenny gets voted off, she has that smirk on her face. So the next episode is basically an idol-themed episode, and this is the one thing I will give Alecia credit for. She saw, like Ty, that they're in a position where that they may be going home if their team loses, so she went out to find an idol. So that is the thing to do when you're in that situation, but here's where she shot herself in the foot because she told somebody about it. I'm like, Why in the world would you tell somebody you found an idol, or let alone a clue? Why would you tell them you found that? I mean, that first of all, puts a target on your back. And then you don't know if the person's going to go and tell the other tribe mates, which Sydney did. And that showed her loyalty to Jason and Scott. And I just didn't get why she said that. But anyway, Jason dug under the tree and ran. So Alecia didn't have a chance to snatch it. And they used Scott's NBA skills to reach up, because the idol was in this like little compartment, and Alecia was standing next to Jason, and Jason ended up catching the idol. And people are saying that Alecia found the idol. I'm like, if she would have found the idol would be in her hand, and she'd be in a much better position. Because if Alecia had that idol, that could have been a major game changer for her, because she could have voted off, because she thought she was in an alliance with Sydney, or it was led to believe she was in a alliance with Sydney, and she could have voted off Scott or Jason. She could have voted off one of those people, but she had to open her mouth. And the Braun tribe ended up coming in second place, so they were safe from the vote. The next episode was brutal. It was brutal for each tribe, because they were literally dropping like flies out there. It was an awful challenge. The heat was scorching out there. I have to give every one of those castaways credit for being out there that long. And you see the Brain tribe still trying to find the bag of balls, and Alicia's just standing there digging and trying to do a cheer thing or something. I'm like, this is not the time to do your little cheer routine. You need to like actually attempt to dig and not just kick your feet around. And people say that Jason and Scott were just sitting there. I'm like, they've probably been working for an hour and a half. If they need to take a breather so they don't dehydrate, then let the people who actually worked hard take a breather. And people were saying, oh, she was trying to get the team all pepped up. And in the previous episode, you saw Debbie was one of the sit-outs, and she had this whole cheer thing. She made this own costume and these little pom-poms, and I'm like, I thought to myself, if the Brain tribe would have lost that, Debbie would have went home for distracting the team during the challenge. So I thought, like, you just can't cheer during that. That's not the time and place to do a cheer. And sure enough, the Bronze tribe loses again, and they want to vote Alecia off, but and they want to do tribal council right there, but Alecia had agreed to it, and she wouldn't. So they go to tribal council, and Alecia is finally gone, and now hopefully Sydney, Jason, and Scott can be a strong three together. And I really think they got Alecia off at the best time, because they have preview for next week is that they're doing the tribe swap, and I always thought to myself that Alecia would do very well in the all-girls alliance on the Beauty tribe, and I so could have seen her flipping over to the Beauty tribe and making an alliance with them, and she probably would have done well. She probably would have gotten a lot farther. So they really did get her off they did get her off at a good time. What I don't understand is how people think that Jason and Scott are bullying Alecia. When you're on Survivor, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. You don't just get stuff handed to you and say, oh, here you go. Oh, here you go. It's intense. I mean, not everybody's going to like each other. Not everyone's going to come out of the game being best friends. But I think it's just ridiculous how people think Jason and Scott are bullying her. They're being truthful and honest with her. I mean, it's really a double standard, because if Alecia was being truthful and saying the same things Jason would be, she would be like this all hero, this warrior and everything. But because Jason is a guy, he's considered a bully to her. And I think it's just ridiculous how they think that she's being bullied when she didn't even do anything. What I consider a bully on Survivor is Jen from Worlds Apart, when her and her little clique were awful to Nina because she was deaf, and they actually purposely made her look bad in the challenge, made her look useless in the challenge, and they voted her off. And I think people really root for pretty faces on Survivor like Joe, but people forget that he was a bully. And I think people who want somebody off because they're deaf and they try to frame, well, no, not try to frame, but they try to purposely make them look bad in a challenge, I think that's considered bullying. But when you're trying to be honest with somebody, I don't think that's being bullied. And I definitely don't think Jason is a bully, because if he was a bully, like people say he was, when Sydney collapsed and everything, he wouldn't have been sitting there taking care of her, trying to give her water to cool off. He would have just been like, oh, forget it, she's weak, she's this, she's this. He was there for her and tried to help her recover. And I don't get why they think that he's a bully. And I think it's the other way around. I think Alecia is the one who's a bully, because you see her on social media sending message to Jason and his family, and bringing his family into this. So that really shows her true colors and who she is and how immature that is. And I really compare Alecia to Jatia on Cagayan, and it just reminds me, because Jatia was very lazy. She's probably one of the worst players to ever come out of Survivor, in my opinion. And even though Jatia was the weaker player and was lazy, they still kept her on, even though she did nothing in the challenges. And when I mean nothing, she did nothing. And she even dumped the rice out, and they still kept her, and they kept her right up until the tribe swap. And I see that with Alecia. She was lazy, and they still kept her on, and they got her off right before the tribe swap. And honestly, between the two of them, I think Alecia was better than Jatia, just because she went out and found the idol, and Jatia just sat there and complained and did nothing. So that's what I think about Alecia and the whole is Jason and Scott being a bully situation and her whole experience on Survivor. If you want to catch more Survivor KO Wrong, it is on tonight, 8 p.m. on CBS. And I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you guys will enjoy my Survivor recap. I'll be posting that after the show is over. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like, subscribe, and stay regal.